So today I thought it would be, well, just pleasant. At least pleasant, can we go for pleasant? To reflect on some of the things that America does right or best. Okay, we all know there's a lot of bad things going on in the world right now, and I'm not sure how aware Americans are that they're at the epicenter of that. But either way, let's just admit 2020 sucks for the entire world, and it might be fortuitous to look at some of the things that are positive about America, because there are a lot of good things. Before I get into the video, do be sure to subscribe, otherwise the next time you try to connect to Wi-Fi, it just won't work. You won't be able to go to your hotspot either. This is because I have just experienced this for the last 20 minutes before filming this video, and I'm a little wound up. My stuff. Focusing on good things now. Okay, we all need to be cheered up. Okay, the first good thing that America apparently has, according to Reddit, my new favorite pastime, is that you guys have great handicapped access. Yes, I would have to say I have noticed this for differently abled. I'm actually not sure. Perhaps you can tell me what the correct terminology is these days. There seems to be a lot better access in America, and I think that's because you have the American Disabilities Act, if I'm not mistaken. In Ireland, there's pretty good access too, but not so much across the rest of Europe. I think nowadays when you're building like a new house, you have to have certain regulations, like being able to get a wheelchair in and out of a house. Of course, there are a lot of older buildings in Ireland, but if it's a public building, I think they've all had to adapt to allow access for people with different abilities. I've noticed in America all the hotel rooms are kitted out to allow everybody access. Also, a lot of your traffic lights are like ours in that you have braille on them, and there's a lot of guide dogs around the place. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, I'm not a person in that particular position myself, so if you have a different perspective, let me know in the comments. The next person says, as an Australian, I have mad respect for your barbecue or grill culture. Well, yeah, I have to say Texas really took the biscuit on that one. Their barbecue was amazing. Actually, coming from an Australian, that has to be high kudos, because in my head, when I think of barbecue, I definitely think of Australia first and foremost.
Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
They seem to be the experts on barbecue, so kudos to you, America, if the Australians are giving you props on your barbecue. Obviously, we have barbecues here in Ireland too, but they're kind of smaller affairs in every way. Also, the weather is not always so guaranteed, so yeah. Dads under umbrellas in the back garden is a common theme here. Also, I always feel when Americans cook barbecue, you must have meat for like the whole week after you do a barbecue, because Christ on a bike, you do a lot of barbecue. The next thing, according to Reddit, that Americans do right is Amber Alerts. Yes, Amber Alerts. I vaguely remember hearing about this idea for the first time, and I thought it was genius. So from my understanding, what an Amber Alert is that when a child goes missing in an area, I think it goes up on all your like motorway signs and some billboards, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, it goes to people in that area's telephones too. In Ireland, we don't have that, but we do obviously have quick spreading social media because it's such a small country. Something that I've noticed, and this is a little bit off topic, okay, but just indulge me. A lot of times when we have young people going missing in Ireland, usually teenagers, they'll put photos up on social media, but sometimes the photos are terrible. Like, they're really low resolution, they're poor quality. Sometimes they even have the teenagers doing duck face, and I always think when I see them, is that really the best photo that you have to identify that child? I'm thinking there must be some reason for them putting up the low quality photos. There must be like a psychological reason that they put up bad photos. Is it that they stick in your head more? Does anybody work in this area? Does anybody know why? I mean, you could argue teenagers naturally do duck face a lot, but there have to be better photos out there of them. Fortunately, in Ireland, the majority of the time teenagers are found safe and well, but I think the Amber Alert is a pretty genius idea. So yes, kudos on your Amber Alerts. The next thing that you guys do well, this is undeniable, fast food. You just do it bigger and better, and if you're going to have fast food, that's exactly what you want. Greasy, tasty food that is terrible for you, quickly and efficiently. Yes, I would have to say this for sure. Whenever we go on the trips to America, when we're not eating on camera, usually we're eating some kind of fast food because we're trying to get from one location to another. And you get a service that you don't get here all the time. It is actually fast. Like 5 minutes would be a long time to wait on fast food in America. Over here, I have found Supermacs and Abracababra, which are the pinnacle of Irish fast food restaurants, are very slow to cook your food for places that are determined to be fast food. You could be waiting 10 minutes, maybe even 15 for your meal. That's too long for something called fast food. Am I being too fussy about fast food? Probably. It tastes great, but it's not fast, you know? The next thing that these guys have said is that you have great business opportunities for entrepreneurs. That is undeniable. America really is the land of opportunity. There is so much potential. The sky is the limit in terms of opportunity there. In Ireland, of course, you can be ambitious and you can do a lot of things, but it seems like there's a ceiling. You can only go so far. Now, we have our own billionaires, so you could argue that's pretty far. But in America, you have a lot of billionaires and a lot of millionaires. What I can compare it to is working as a full-time actor here in Ireland. Working as a full-time actor here in Ireland, your ambition was to get these day player roles, like walk-on roles on TV shows where you have one line, and you would work your whole year to get that one part for one line. At least in America, you have the opportunity to get an entire show booked. See, the problem is here, they bring in the Americans, and they get all the big parts, or the British get all the big parts. A couple of Irish get the big parts, but those are few and far between. I think similarly in business, you can only go so far. It's just that there's an infinite amount of possibility in America, and there's a finite amount of possibility in Ireland. The next thing that you guys are credited as having is advanced science, space exploration, medical fields, entertainment, music, technology, and literature. Yeah, I mean, there's no space stations in Ireland. I mean, if you dream of being an astronaut in Ireland, you'd have to dream hard and move. Again, it's not something that's impossible, but it's just harder. Another factor in terms of scientific development and stuff is, again, finances. In such a huge place, you guys have a lot of backing of finances. So say you are a scientist who researches stem cells. I didn't do well in science in school. The sky would just be the limit there because there'd be all kinds of research grants, whereas here, the research grants would be in existence, but smaller and fewer. Advanced literature, though, I have to quibble that. We do pretty well on literature here in Ireland, so it's a great word, quibbling. The next person says, not swearing. Y'all are savage AF with your bless your heart and oh sweetie. Okay, this bless your heart thing. I need to inform the Americans about bless your heart. Every single time I do a video where I mention bad language or slang terms, people go, have you heard bless your heart? Yes. Bless your heart is well known across the world as a thing that Americans say as kind of a semi-put down. I'm not too sure why people in the comments always give me the heads up specifically about bless your heart. Because we know about bless your heart. And oh sweetie, yeah, no, I think anybody calling you a pet name is probably a bit of a snide put down. But yes, I have to give credit to the Americans. They don't resort to cursing so much. Now I have a question, because sometimes, in some cases, cursing feels good, doesn't it? Just feels good to say f***ing f*** you, f***ing f***ing f***. I feel so much better now. So what do you do with the pent-up anger of not cursing? What do you do with that? Where does that energy go? Next up, your national anthem. This person says they're not a fan of the pageantry and intensity around it, but it's a hell of a song. Yeah, of course, obviously, if you're not from America, the sentiment of the American anthem doesn't necessarily relate to you, but it is a banger of a tune. The American anthem, melodically, sounds brilliant, and you get to do all those big belting high notes, and all your singers get to do their oh. Try doing that with Sinn Féin Fáil. Of course, patriotically, oh the anthem, oh yay. And damn right I'm going to shout it from the stands at a rugby match, or just when people spontaneously start singing it in the street, which has never happened, but I would do if I felt obliged. But independently as a tune, it's just not as banging as the American anthem. Okay, we have a fantastic anthem in rugby. The Irish anthem in rugby. After you watch this video, go Google the Irish rugby anthem. It is brilliant. I get tears in my eyes listening to it. I get behind it. I feel emotional when I listen to it. And that's how you should feel when you hear your anthem. You shouldn't be struggling for the words. Me and 90% of the country only know a handful of the words of our own anthem, which I'm not proud of. I'm not. I'm ignorant. I'm an ignorant person. I knew them in school. I did know them in school. The next one simply says their selection of cereal. Yes, you are so freaking lucky, and I can attest to that fact this week. I went to my local Super Value and there were like 5 cereals on offer and I didn't want any of them. There was Bran Flakes, plain corn flakes, very expensive like Choco Pillows, Cocoa Pops and porridge. And I just didn't want any of them. I wanted like something different. But I didn't have that option. In America, your cereal aisle is an entire aisle. Cereal is still one of my favourite things in the entire world, and I love the fact that all your cereals are designed for children. And yes, they will probably rot the teeth out of your head, but it's okay because your water's full of fluoride, so you know, pluses and minuses. The number one thing, okay. The number one thing that Americans have and do well is apparently porn. I wouldn't know, I've never watched porn. But I could imagine, had I done so, that indeed American porn would be accessible. I've heard it said that German and Japanese porn is slightly weird, and I can only imagine that if Irish porn existed, I'm sure it does, very nichely, that watching two pasty people would not be the biggest turn on. Also, there'd be all the cursing. It'd be a no from me. It just seems organic that you would have American porn. You know, the people that brought you Disney also bring you porn. It's just, you know, the production value would be great.
Look at all this production value, waiting to have balls on it.
I can imagine Americans saying anything filthy, really. It just all sounds right in an American accent. There you go. So yeah, those are some things that Americans do really well. I want to dedicate today's video to all of the members of Squad over on Patreon. These are an awesome group of people who I have the absolute pleasure of chatting to every single month. Some of them prefer not to chat and sit in silence, and that's okay too. I respect your choices. But yeah, Squad are the backbone of my Patreon community, so thank you to each and every one of them, and if you see them in the comments, please say boop. They'd appreciate it. That's it for today's list. Feel free to engage with one another in the comments in a respectful way, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye. Bye. Oh! Right over. You coming up? Well, Mr. Chustifer, what do you like about America?
I don't know, because you won't let me go to America. Well, I know it's not your fault. It's the airlines who won't let me go. Also, it's very hot up here. I like that they send me treats. Let me down.
Yes, it is hot up here. Thank you for your input.